is ABC-7 at 5.
A traffic stop turns deadly in northeast El Paso Friday night. Police pulled over a car on the 4400 block of Tetons. While one officer was interviewing the driver, police say the passenger in the car got out and drew a handgun. Police say that man refused orders to drop the weapon and started yelling at a second officer. That officer shot and killed the passenger.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Rick Cabrera.
And I'm Estela. Casas. Good afternoon. Today, El Paso police identified the dead man.
ABC-7's Darren Hunt joins us now live with new information on this story. Darren?
Look at Estela. He was 33-year-old Andy Martinez of the 3300 block of Nashville in central El Paso. Now, these are pictures of Martinez that we got from his family today, a family that is distraught and struggling to understand exactly what happened. Martinez's younger sister, Blanca, told me today her brother left her home at about 9 p.m. on Friday night. He was dead by 10 p.m. Martinez's family admitted he had his troubles with the law in the past. The ABC-7 I team uncovered several prior arrests in El Paso, including an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon from August of 1999, possession of marijuana later the same year, possession of a controlled substance in 2000, and unauthorized use of a vehicle in 2001. Martinez also had an arrest in Arizona in 2007 for aggravated assault, kidnapping, and assault with reckless intent causing injury. El Paso police said he was also wanted for a probation violation on transport of a controlled substance out of Arizona.
It was just devastating because, my son was a wonderful person. He was a loving dad, a loving brother, a loving grandkid, and I didn't think he deserved this.
He's always going to be in our hearts. He was a good person, even though he made mistakes like everyone else. He was a good person, and we're going to miss him a lot.
Now, the officer who shot Martinez was a female officer and 2-year veteran of the Northeast Regional Command Center. Police say the DA presents all officer-involved shootings to the grand jury, and the officer's name will not be released until after the grand jury decision. They did not want to comment beyond a written news release they issued today. Coming up at 6, you'll hear what Martinez's family said when I asked them whether they knew that he had a gun. Rick and Estela.
We'll see you at 6. Darren Hunt live tonight. Thank you.
New at 5, a shootout on the freeway. This involved a New Mexico State police officer and a man wanted for murder in Mississippi. This happened yesterday afternoon just outside Lordsburg, New Mexico. Investigators tell ABC-7 authorities in Mississippi alerted New Mexico State police about a wanted man. Police officer spotted the suspect who allegedly refused to pull over. That's when the chase began. Police say DeJuan Holloway fired several shots at officers. One of them fired back, striking Holloway. EMS crews airlifted the 23-year-old Holloway to University Medical Center here in El Paso. Officials say Holloway, who was wanted for capital murder and a carjacking, remains in stable condition.
The attempted murder trial for the cab driver accused of trying to kill his ex-girlfriend's boyfriend is now underway in Las Cruces. Police say 47-year-old Darren Henry Sr. allegedly drove his cab to the woman's house where he threatened her and her boyfriend with a gun. He allegedly shot the boyfriend, striking him once. This is new video you will see only on ABC-7. Our New Mexico Mobile Newsroom was inside the courtroom during jury selection and opening arguments today. Back in 2013, the shooting victim's brother told ABC-7 his brother had to have surgery to replace his kneecap. We'll, of course, be keeping a close eye on this trial this week.
Rick, a disturbing story out of Las Cruces. Police accuse a teenager of beating and abusing his girlfriend and baby while using and selling meth. SWAT team officers were called out to the 400 block of Picacho yesterday after a call for help from the man's wife. 18-year-old Manuel Telles Edmond walked out peacefully and was arrested. Now, the wife apparently told them he pointed a loaded gun at her face, but out of fear, she waited until she was at work to call for help. New at 5. Our New Mexico Mobile Newsroom learned Telles' home is across the street from Las Cruces Police Headquarters. According to a complaint affidavit obtained by ABC-7, Telles had not allowed his girlfriend or his baby to bathe in more than a month. The document states there is no electricity in the baby's room and no hot water in the home. Police say the baby, who is 11 months old, was allegedly confined to a crib most of the day and was barely learning to stand up.
We hope it's not happening anywhere else in Las Cruces or anywhere else for that matter, but anybody who has suspicion of something similar to this happening, please call 911 and let your local law enforcement agency go and at least do a welfare check.
Police also found nearly 6 grams of meth and 15 pets inside Theus's home. They say the home was filled with urine and feces. Theus is facing a slew of charges, including aggravated battery, child abuse, and possession of meth with intent to distribute.
Let's turn to storm track weather now. Another cold and gray day here in the borderland. This morning, however, an ABC-7 photographer recorded beautiful weather in West El Paso. You can see the fog moving along the Franklin Mountains. Chief Meteorologist Doppler Dave Spillman joins us now with your first forecast. Doppler?
Yeah, and still chilly out there tonight. In fact, if you're going to be heading out tonight, you're going to be on the west side of town. The winds will be up a little bit more on the west side. So we're going to have a little bit more of a wind chill factor. So take that into consideration. Let me give you a caught up on what we had snow-wise over the past 24 hours. Up in Reno, so 2.5 inches. A lot of it wet snow. Some of that has since melted today. Alto had 5 inches. Ski Apache picked up 6 at that elevation. And Cloudcroft had reports there at 2 inches. The cold air mass is in place all across Texas, New Mexico. You can see some of that rain moving out of Arizona. That upper level low continues to track to the northeast. We'll talk about our chances of seeing some precip over the next 24 hours. That's all coming up.
Doppler, thank you. This week, outgoing Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel is embarking on his final tour of the U.S. Hagel wants to thank service members and their families across the country. According to the Department of Defense website, the final stop in Hagel's tour will be this Thursday at Fort Bliss. It's a fitting end to Hagel's tenure as Defense Secretary, since the former Army Sergeant completed basic training at Fort Bliss back in 1967. Hagel will not only give his last major speech on post, he is also planning to meet with some of the first responders to last week's deadly shooting at the VA clinic next to William Beaumont. He will thank them for their rapid response and good work. Officials say Hagel will not visit the clinic, however, because he does not want to disrupt the ongoing investigation.
Last week, Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto was in our nation's capital, where he visited with President Obama at the White House. Tomorrow, Peña Nieto is scheduled to be in Ciudad Juarez. And Diario reports Mexico's president plans to speak about health care, security, and controversial efforts to reform Mexico's state-run oil industry. City reps want El Paso's mayor to be decisive when it comes to crucial votes.
Right now, our city charter doesn't allow that. He's only allowed to vote on ties, which just doesn't make any sense.
Straight ahead, why Council wants Mayor Oscar Leisure to have a more powerful voice and why changing the rules won't be that simple. Plus,
protecting our digital infrastructure is a national security priority.
Why President Obama says the threat from cyber warfare is bigger than ever. And in Storm Track Weather, Doppler.
So when will it warm up? When will we get to see more sunshine in the forecast? It's coming up in weather.
This is ABC 7 at 5, where news comes first.